Well, so first things first, how are you?
Good. I just came out of bed, so
Well, the
uh,
same here, so that's okay.
yeah.
Um, well, where I want to start is obviously the last 2 years have been very strange. And I believe the year before that, in 2019, you kind of took things a little bit slower. You were kind of exhausted a little bit from all, the three albums before. So what was it like starting up again, starting to the whole process of, hey, let's think about a new album?
Actually, it was in 2018. We had a little break because I had my first baby, and then we naturally I was at home with the baby. But we still played a few shows, and then in 2019 we released a new album, and we were actually touring a great deal. So when 2020 came, we had already been touring a lot.
Okay.
Yes. So I don't really know. I think maybe it's in like the press release, the writing that we took a break, but we didn't.
Oh, okay.
So we need to correct that.
Yeah, it's said that you were exhausted a little bit with the previous years and kind of took a little break. But yeah, as you mentioned, then pretty much you just continued working. So when does the idea then of Mother come in? Is that kind of something that slowly takes shape, or did you kind of know beforehand this is what we're gonna create?
Well, I started writing this material maybe in 2018, 2019. Okay. And it just slowly shaped into it, but it didn't happen on its own. We worked, like it saw what kind of songs do we have, what are they about, what kind of things do we like, and then all like in the end it was called Mother. And yeah.
Musically, did you have a vision of what that should be? Because obviously you've released a bunch of albums before, and then you kind of, do you always try to challenge yourself with the next one?
I don't, like musically, like in terms of genre, I don't think that there's a foundation or back to my roots or anything. It's just that's always moving towards something new. Oh yeah. And so I think about like going back to the roots, maybe in just terms of trying to be as true as possible and being more grounded. Not like going back to the like genre that we really like, you know.
Right. In what sense then? Is it because I can imagine when you have some success, does that kind of seep into the writing? Do you become more pressured, or do you kind of need to let that part of it go and then kind of, as you say, connect to when you wrote just for yourself?
I'm trying to write just for myself, but I think it's impossible to not be at least a little bit impacted by people's expectations, and also know that we have built a foundation, Highasakite is people's workplace. We have a certain responsibility to keep that train running and keep people in work. So we can't just make songs that are super weird and no one wants to listen to. We have to make something that we think is gonna sell as well. But I like pop music, so it's not really a sacrifice. I would like to have an audience. And yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
You can talk as well.
Really nice what you're talking. Yeah, I didn't catch. Did you ask something that I can answer as well?
Well, in terms of the the approach to the new songs then? This is a new album. The approach, and Ingrid mentioned kind of going back to, at least from a writing standpoint, a little bit back to her roots.
Oh yeah.
What was it for you trying to shape then the sonic landscape in a way around these songs?
Yeah, we talked a lot about that, and we all just wanted to be more brave, I guess. Like, or it's so easy to like make everything really nice and make everyone happy. So it was important this time to try and make something that had this edge, yeah, this edge to it that could be. Maybe it could scare some of our audience away, but still maybe some others would think this is really interesting. So yeah, that was kind of something we tried to do.
What was the first song that kind of got fleshed out, that kind of took shape?
I can remember we worked on this song Autopsy. And I remember one of the first times in the studio we made this synth layer for the chorus. That was really it's really like aggressive and kind of epic, you know. And I felt when we made that, then we had this we could go there, and we could also go to the more R&B side of things on some songs, but. That was really cool to make that first chorus. Then we thought we could do something really edgy.
And I mean, the song you mentioned, Autopsy, and lyrically that song is quite edgy, I would say as well. So which came first? Did the lyrics come first or the music?
I think it came at the same time, like while I was sitting writing it. I think that what's it called, like the riff.
It's a riff.
That came first, and then like the just. So I put that in my because I make the sketches for the songs like really easy on my Logic at home, and so I had that, and so I did, and then I just sang it, and the lyrics came with the melody mostly, and then yeah.
Well, we mentioned it a little bit before I turned the camera on, but this album does feel like a concept album. So with this Autopsy, did you kind of have the flow of a relationship already in mind then when Autopsy started to take shape?
Yeah, but because I think that Autopsy is written like the bottom when you hit rock of a relationship and everything crashes, and yeah. And I had already like written the first song, which kind of is the beginning of the beginning of the album, and the beginning of the relationship, and also had the idea for what the ending should be.
How much of this arc, this story arc, so to say, that you go through on the album, it happened to either of you? Is it very autobiographical?
No, it's not very autobiographical.
But I guess I don't know. I can answer for you, Ingrid, but I guess like there's some snippets there probably that you take out, and then you can write a whole song about it, right? So there, I would guess you have experienced something that you start writing about, and then it becomes.
I think that everyone that has been in a relationship that has failed has lived through most of it, like the just deterioration of the relationship, not just in a love relationship, but just a way of like demonizing each other and just withdrawing from each other.
A couple of songs kind of go into this. What you now mentioned, "So Cold" is one of them. I really like the line "Love is suspicious." When did that line pop up?
I don't remember the exact time that line popped up. It's probably after a horrible fight. I don't know.
And the other one, I mean, "Keep It Alive" kind of goes into that sense as well, where you're trying to keep something alive, even though maybe somebody is not showing you the emotions that you would like to receive. So this whole story, then, I always find it interesting, and then this is for you as well, Trond. How do you kind of create the right setting to place these themes in, the right musical mood or atmosphere? Is that a long process, and is it a lot of trying out different things?
Yeah, that's really we kind of figure out the idea together, like for the production. And then I sit like 1 week or 2 weeks just at home with my headphones and try to figure out what direction should this go. And it's a really, really long process. And I listen to a lot of kind of references and trying to find some ideas from other artists, what did they do. And yeah, it's really hard work.
Well, for instance, with the song, we mentioned Autopsy already, but it is a very long song, and just the dynamics even within that song, because the album is quite dynamic, but there's dynamics in that song, and then you have that whole kind of musical second half of the song. How do you know that you're going to do that, or how do you arrive at the point where you think, okay, let's go for this, let's go for a good musical?
I remember you, Ingrid, you on your demo for the song, you had this tail on the demo, and I asked you, what is that? So that was just some synths going on after the song was finished, and you told me, yeah, it would be cool to have this synth outro stuff, and then in the studio later on we tried to make it to make just that, and we made this first round of just some techno stuff going on, and we thought we were going to just have a fade out after like 30 seconds, and we just added more and more stuff to it, and in the end it was like we could never finish it because it just went on and it went cooler and cooler like out in the song, and yeah, it was just like art by accident kind of. Yeah.
Oh, I don't agree with that.
Yeah. Oh no?
That it wasn't art by accident. We were like searching up like drops, like techno drops, and we had to like YouTube or it like, because we know that we wanted like a rave kind of sound.
After a while we understood that this could be this rave thing.
Yeah, and we had but it didn't sound like rave, it just sounded like a band trying to play techno.
Yeah.
So we had to like this, so it was purposely going that direction, and we knew what we wanted to make.
After a while we knew that.
Go the school of YouTube.
This you mentioned this kind of rave sound or this atmosphere. Did making this album bring you back to your younger years when you went out clubbing and all that stuff?
We still go clubbing.
I don't anymore.
I have been to a rave once, and it was really just the art show. So I don't go raving, and I have never been doing that. But it's like the aesthetics of that environment, and like the kind of like the mood and the trance and the kind of like self-destructing way of living almost. Yeah.
I think we always have been drawn to extreme sorts of music, like some really strange folk music from Africa, and also this kind of rave thing that's kind of not a very common thing. Like it's not very not my mom and dad would listen to actually. So, but I think it's really cool to try and put that stuff into more of a pop setting, and to make people listen to stuff they normally don't know what is. So I think it's really interesting.
It's interesting because is that type of music very popular? I don't know about Norway, but is it popular there?
Yes,
the kind of rave and techno scene.
It is a big scene.
Okay.
In Norway as well, but not as big as like Berlin. But it's not a part of like you can't hear it on the radio.
Okay.
Not like it's part of pop culture as much.
It's very underground, I think, with techno in Norway.
Yeah, but we have like Kygo and
that's more
right. Those
stuff.
kind of EDM stuff. That's pop music, but I mean like the techno just goes and goes and builds and builds and builds and builds. It's a big scene, but it's like we didn't get it on video.
Oh.
Well, finally, I want to talk about Ingrid. You mentioned the aesthetics, and now I read in the bio, I think it was as well. So maybe this isn't completely true, but that you've been working on the live show for about 2 years as well, and that you really see this as more as an album, and you want to kind of have a really grand approach to this whole mother thing.
Yes, we have been working on the live show since 2019 now. And that's when we started drawing up the first sketches and so we're thinking more like more theatrical kind of, just not that we won't have any lines or anything. It's just more like how to use the arena and like how to build up a set to have like 3 acts. Do you call it an act? No, like a first like
the act works. Second act, third act, yeah, that works, I think.
So we have and we have built with now we have worked with choreographer that has been in theater for many years, and she just knew the approach and how to actually make this come to life. Yeah.
No, is this again? I mentioned challenging yourselves earlier on. Is that part of it that you want to expand, because music can be so much more in terms of the visual elements that you add to it, or stage performances, atmosphere that you can set it within a venue or something. So is this kind of the path that Highasakite now is on, to create this kind of experience for people?
I have always tried to be on this path, but it's also expensive. So we have to just certain type of income and popularity to be able to do so. But we have always been like very into like the whole, like what we look like on stage and what kind of lights we have and what the album, and like I've always been very interested in that, and I like other bands that are very good at things like that, like the Antwoord.
Sure.
You know, like that's like the coolest thing I know, because it's so worked through in all the features, everything is just goes hand in hand. And I feel like, that's part of the art, and it's part of the work. And we're not really like artists that could just stream and stream and stream and be on like tons of streaming lists. And we are a live show band. We do live acts, and yeah, we want to do that as good and as exciting as possible.
Last question then, and I believe you're playing live again in April, if I'm not mistaken. What do you hope with this new album release? What do you hope that people that either come to the show or listen to the album on their headphones at home, what do you hope they take away from it, or what do you hope they hear in it?
I haven't really thought about that. I just want them to listen to it a lot and then come.
Yeah, our production manager always talks about that this has some kind of a darkness to it that he thinks people really needs right now. I don't know about that, but and also I hope that some of the songs will surprise, like it will get you interested for the whole album, because as you said, it's quite dynamic, and it also has very different kind of styles. I hope that that could keep the listener interested for the whole album. But you never know. But yeah.
Well, we'll wait and see, and I wish you all the best with the album then, and hopefully you get to play soon and get to realize that vision that you have on stage.